Lucas, and this is my Wakelet project on the film Baraka. I chose this film because it approaches storytelling in a completely different way. There is no dialogue, no characters, no plot in the traditional sense. Instead, the film uses images, sound, and rhythm to explore a major theme, which is humanity's growing disconnection from nature. So, Baraka is a globally filmed documentary in 25 countries. The film is, the entire film is built around visual meditation. It moves through rituals, landscapes, cities, and moments of daily life without explaining anything to the viewer. This approach forces the audience to slow down and actually observe what the world looks like. The film places natural environments next to industrial and urban ones, and seeing these two worlds side by side makes the theme very clear. One world feels grounded, while the other one feels chaotic and overstimulated. So, since there isn't really a plot summary, this section kind of focuses on the progression of the film rather than the retelling of a plot. The film opens with scenes of mountains, waterfalls, and forests. These images feel calm and untouched. Then it shifts into human rituals like monks chanting, which makes it clear that many cultures kind of have a relationship with nature and spirituality. Halfway through the film, though, the tone completely changes. Everything becomes fast. You see factories, machinery, overcrowded cities, pollution, and scenes that make modern life feel mechanical. The film ends by returning to spiritual and natural imagery, almost like a reminder of what balance should look like. Up here, I have the trailer. I think you should definitely check it out. Um, it it's kind of like a sneak peek of the actual movie. It contains a lot of the scenes, and you'll get a much better gist of what the whole movie's like, and it's pretty good. The first major technique uh, is cinematography that's used in this film. Baraka uses a lot of time lapse shots that make city life look sped up and overwhelming, but in contrast, nature scenes move slowly, and that difference alone kind of communicates the pace of modern life versus the pace of the natural world. Tracking shots also guide the viewer through sacred spaces or busy environments. This is a way that kind of makes it feel immersive. The next technique is mise en scene. Uh, Nature scenes are full of organic shapes and soft lighting, while the industrial scenes are filled with straight lines, metal, and artificial light. These visuals communicate emotion without needing dialogue. The symbolism is uh, rituals and sacred practices, and they symbolize connection and identity, while factories symbolize uniformity and the loss of individuality. Sound design also plays a major role. Natural sounds like water and wind create peace. Industrial sounds create pressure and stress. The music rises and falls also with each scene, which is pretty cool. And then I included an article from the American Society of Cinematographers here, which explains why the 70 filming process, it explains the 70 filming process and why the visuals feel so much more powerful than they do kind of in other films. So Baraka highlights cultural practices from all over the world. The film shows the way different communities express spirituality through chanting, dance, or ritual. But what stood out to me is how these moments felt so peaceful and intentional. The film then contrasts that with places where cultural tradition is disappearing because of industrial growth. By showing these differences back to back, the film asks the viewer to think about what is being lost. And in connection to that, I have this Instagram post right here um, that says the true cost of fashion is more than what's on the price tag. So, what is being lost in this? And that is nature in itself for a more industrial society. And in this example, it's fashion. And so, the main social issue I really focused on is the growing disconnection between humanity and nature. Um, Baraka shows untouched landscapes and that these feel like sacred and complete on their own. It then contrasts these scenes with polluted environments, crowded cities, and fast paced industrial settings. What makes this powerful is that the film never gives commentary. It lets the viewer confront the image directly and alone. I included a post from the UNEP. Um, this says the land we live on does more than just feed us. It helps in our cooling the planet by absorbing harmful emissions. Human activities are upsetting this balance. Again, this is a tie back to how nature is balanced by itself almost, and it feels full and complete. Um, but together we can change the story, talking about how you can do something. My personal reaction to Baraka was shaped by how it uses silence and imagery. The peaceful scenes made me aware of how rarely I slow down in my own life. Meanwhile, the chaotic city scenes felt uncomfortably familiar. It made me think about how disconnected I can be from nature and how much calmer life feels when I take the time to be in a quiet place or pay attention to the environment around me, just like how many of us do. Um, Baraka shows the full range of human experience. It shows beauty, ritual, and meaning, but it also shows suffering, poverty, and environmental destruction. The contrast makes you think about how the systems people live in and how they shape their lives. The film suggests that when people lose connection to nature and spirituality, they lose connection to themselves and raises questions about what direction society is moving in and whether that direction lines up with what people actually value. So, in conclusion, Baraka is a film that communicates through visuals instead of dialogue, and that choice makes its message even stronger. It shows how much beauty exists in the world and how easily it can be overshadowed by industrial growth. The theme of humanity's disconnection from nature feels even more relevant today. The film encourages viewers to slow down, reflect, and reconsider what actually matters. And I don't think we have time to watch the trailer, but I definitely recommend checking it out because it is like a small version of the movie. So if you don't watch the movie, watch the trailer. Thank you.